What is up, my friends? I would say you're very welcome along, but I take absolutely no pleasure in being here once again after Manchester City have dismantled Liverpool by 4-1. A second half that was far too familiar to many of us Liverpool fans this season. A complete capitulation after a first 45 minutes that I thought was quite good. I thought Liverpool matched Manchester City, and I thought going in at the break 1-1 was a fair reflection on what we'd seen. But that second 45 minutes was absolutely pathetic, and I don't have another word for it. I'm going to go through and give you my player ratings from a score of 1 to 10 with each of the players. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you agree or disagree with the scores that I've given? And look, ultimately, there are going to be a few players who I go in on today, players that are supposed to be leaders at this football club and are showing absolutely no leadership. But before I get stuck into it, little shout out to our sponsor Circl. If you would like to join us for future circles, you know what to do. Scan that QR code in the top right hand corner of the video, or go down to the description where you'll see the link there where you can download Circl. You do need to be 18 plus and a UK resident. It is a gambling product, so please gamble responsibly. And again, if you would like £5 in free bets by depositing and placing your first £5 in bets, use the referral code anfieldagenda on sign up. Right, let's start off with Alisson. And normally I say to you, there's not much Alisson could have done. I thought Alisson played okay. I didn't today. I thought that he could have at least done better on 2 of those Manchester City goals. The Grealish goal where he side-footed it past them, and the Kevin De Bruyne goal, I felt like Alisson could have got to the ball before De Bruyne. Could have just got a touch in it to take it away from them. But that being said, it's not Alisson Becker's fault that the defence in front of him is an absolute joke. And I find it hard to grade Alisson on this one, so I'm going to go with a 5 because ultimately we did concede 4 goals. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Well, aren't we all glad that he spent that extra week at Anfield training? Because clearly it paid off, right? Said nobody. Look, Trent, again, isn't to blame for this. It isn't a one-player performance that we can single out. But again, he's part of a defence that is suspect. When you play Manchester City, you know what they're going to do. They're going to try and overload you in wide areas and switch the ball quickly from one side to another. And sometimes the ball ends up going overneath Trent's head, sometimes over Trent's head. So yeah, pulling overneath again there. Over Trent's head, other times over Andy Robertson's head. And look, City are good at it. And it can make full-backs look really bad. But we need more protection and more help. And we got some of that in the first half from Harvey Elliot, who was coming across and really doing well with Trent. But in the second half, City just absolutely tore us to shreds. So Trent Alexander-Arnold was culpable in some way because he's part of the defence, but I don't want to put this performance on him. And he does get credit for going back and trying to knuckle down during the international break, but it clearly hasn't made much of a difference to our defence. So Trent today also was going to get a 5. Canade, not good enough. Not good enough. Neither of our centre-backs today cover themselves in any glory. Ibrahimovic Canade has a great future ahead of him. He looks like a top quality centre back, but again today there was not enough runners being tracked. There wasn't enough people putting their bodies on the line to get blocks in when Manchester City were trying to get strikes away inside our 18-yard box, and I thought that himself and Virgil Van Dijk were nowhere near good enough. So today I'm going to give Ibrahimovic Canade a 4, and he needs to be a lot better. But you know what, I don't think he was the worst of our centre backs. That falls for this gentleman here, Virgil van Dijk, the £75 million man. The man that we've all spent many years saying is the best centre-back in world football. Those days are gone. Right now, he's not top 10. Right now, there's questions about should he even be starting in this Liverpool team. And you know what? I think they're fair, valid questions. I'm not saying he's finished, but what I am saying is he's not a leader. He's showing that this season. Look at his performances, look at the way he's carrying himself, look at his body language. There's a lot of throwing his arms up in the air, a lot of eyes to the sky, a lot of, oh, it's not my fault, it's everybody else around me. You're the leader, sir. You're the big money man. You're the man at the back that's supposed to be marshalling that defence, and quite frankly, you're the man that's responsible for a defence capitulating time after time after time. And you need to get dirty. Don't be afraid to get some muck on your knees, Van Dijk. Don't be afraid to throw your body around. You don't have to look cool all the time. You just have to stop the ball going in the net. So Van Dijk today was a 3. It was a deplorable performance, and I'm quite frankly getting a pain in my backside watching it. Andy Robertson, not a great display today, but to be fair to Robbo, he has been a player who's been in good form over past weeks. You'll always get effort from Andy Robertson, but sometimes I feel like his final ball, or he panics a bit when he gets into the opposition 18-yard box. But I'm not going to go in on Robbo today. You'll always get guided and effort. I do have a lot of time for Robbo, and I think he was poor today, but it's not a continuation of other poor performances. It was just a bad performance. So I'm going to give Andy Robertson a 5 today. Fabinho, game of two halves. First half, I thought our midfield matched Manchester City's midfield, and I thought that Cody Garbo was doing a really good job in turning players in midfield. You've seen Rodri grabbing him a couple of times, getting a yellow card. But Fabinho, as the game went on, looked less and less interested, looked less and less capable, and we're already seeing that we're missing Stefan Bajcetic. So again, the question is going to be asked in the summer, if an offer comes in, would you consider selling Fabinho? For me, yes, but I'm not being reactionary with that. I've said that for a few months now, probably. Today, again, not the worst performance of a Liverpool team, but nowhere near good enough. So again, a 5 for Fabinho. Henderson should never be starting for Liverpool, but he is, because we have to. He shouldn't be though, right? You agree with me on that. In an ideal world, he shouldn't be in Liverpool's starting midfield because the legs aren't there anymore. The heart is there, the fight is there, the desire is there, but the body's not willing. And we can't hide away from this. Jordan Henderson's been a supreme captain of our football club. I hope he sticks around at the club. I hope he takes the James Milner role for next season and we see his minutes really whittled down and we see him in cup games or finishing off games for Liverpool coming off the bench. But he should not be anywhere near the starting 11 next season. And I don't think that's an overreaction. I just think he shouldn't be. His days are gone. So for Jordan Henderson today, I'm going to go for a 4. I'm just very disappointed with what we're seeing from Hendo this season. Moving on to Harvey Elliot. A decent first 45 minutes. It was interesting to see him out on the right hand side and Salah and Cody Garbo the ones through the centre who were almost rotating the front position at times. Still, it's hard for Elliot though because he's been shifted around quite a bit. Like, what is he? Is he a winger? Is he a midfielder? Is he a potential 10? I'd like to hear Jurgen Klopp give us an explanation for that because I know that the criticism of Harvey Elliot will come from certain quarters, but ultimately I feel he's been really unlucky because he hasn't been able to be playing in a similar position over and over again. Right side of midfield in some weeks. Today he was a right winger. So I'd like to see some clarity around where the future will be for Harvey Elliot, but I don't think he was the worst of them out there today, so I'm going to give him a 6. Cody Garbo. Thought he was brilliant in the first half. Really, really, really enjoyed his link-up play. I thought he was spinning in midfield and creating space for himself. You seen Rodri wasn't able to cope with him. And I really am liking this lad settling into the Liverpool team. I have a lot of hope for Cody Garbo. Again, I think he is the successor to Bobby Firmino, and I think we've seen that more and more as the weeks go by. But again, today, he was part of a team that had their asses handed to them. So I'm going to give Cody Garbo, going to give him a 6 today as well. Diogo Jota. I thought he was okay at times, but ultimately far too stale, far too lackadaisical in possession. The brain is there. You can see the footballing brain at work, but he's just not producing it with the final ball or that last touch. So I'm going to give him a score of 5 today because he wasn't really at the level he should be at for a player of his ability. He's such a clever football player, but today, I don't know, some people were saying he just looked disinterested. Don't want to label that at him, but he just looked not switched on to me, really. Mohamed Salah. You have heard me many times this season say that Mohamed Salah should have been dragged off the pitch, wasn't playing well enough. And today, probably our best player out there. Scores a wonderful goal, was putting himself about, was trying really hard, had a couple of bits of joy as well coming in from the right hand side at times when he drifted out. And I was very surprised to see Jurgen Klopp take him off when he was bringing on Darwin and Bobby Firmino. I don't get it. I don't understand it today. I thought Mo did okay. I'm going to give Mo a 7. I thought he took his goal magnificently. It was a great finish and again a good move from Liverpool. Kostas Tsimikas. I think his biggest contribution today was probably not giving Pep Guardiola the high five that Pep was looking for after Manchester City scored their equaliser. You could see the look of disgust rightly on Kostas' face, but again, I don't know what Klopp expected bringing him on for Andy Robertson at that time, so let's just give him a 5 because I don't really think he did too much in the game. Bobby Firmino, again, him and Darwin, I don't really remember them impacting the game in any way, negatively or positively coming on. They just seem to be another addition to a group of players that were just happy to hear the final whistle. So I don't know where to go with Bobby, so let's continue with the 5s and move on. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Every time this dude gets minutes, I'm just wondering why. Why are we not giving Carvalho a run out? Why is he not in the squad? Why are we not giving players who have a future at the club minutes? Instead, we're giving Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who, look, no disrespect to Alex, but we know he's leaving. We know his future lies elsewhere. His time at Liverpool will be coming to an end. Why aren't we giving these opportunities to younger players? Why aren't we giving them the experience of going and playing away at the Etihad? I don't get it from Klopp, and it's starting to really, really annoy me. So I don't know what to say about Alex. Let's give him a 5 again, because that's where we're going with the subs. But it's the minutes he's getting that bugs me more than anything. And again, I don't want to be disrespectful to Alex, but we know he's not going to be here next season. Darwin Nunes. How can a cut ankle keep you out for 2 weeks and then you not be fit enough to start, according to the manager's selection? I don't get it. And at half-time, any manager worth his salt, in my opinion, 1-1 at the Etihad, where you've been in the game, you've troubled City, that's the time you bring him on. You bring him on and give City something to think about for the second half. They're without their superstar striker. They're without Phil Foden. And yet we leave Darwin sitting on the bench until the 68th, 69th minute. For what? Be proactive, Kloppo. Utilise this man. You either believe in him or you don't. He had a cut ankle, folks. Not a muscle strain. Not a knock that was keeping him out. A cut ankle that would have had plenty of time to heal. And if he's fit enough to be on the bench, he's fit enough to play. And I don't understand the decision to not bring him on earlier from Jurgen Klopp. So for him, he gets a 5 because he was nowhere when he came on. But ultimately, it's just, again, more questions than answers for a manager. And then the final kick in the nuts was to see Cody Garbo brought off for James Milner. Again, I want to draw your attention to Manchester City substitution around the same time, taking off Rodri, their holding midfield player, to bring on Cole Palmer, an attacker. We bring off Gakpo to bring on James Milner. Again, no disrespect to Jimmy Milner, but what's the point? What is the point of that? To keep Gakpo's legs for Tuesday for what, the few minutes he was on? I don't get it. It's just frustrating, and I want better. Simple as that. So look, I don't even know how to grade Jimmy Milner. Let's give him a 6, because we probably won't be grading him too many more times before his Liverpool career is up. So look, that is it from us with the player ratings. But before I let you go, I just want a little word on our manager. Jurgen Klopp has to take responsibility for this. Yes, he only has certain players that he can choose, but so many times these same players are just not showing up. He needs to be vocal. He needs to start calling it out, and he needs to start showing the fight and the desire that his players are not. Over to you guys. Let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree? I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.